This is the Son of the Law podcast. Hey everybody, welcome. Welcome to the Son of the Law podcast. I am your host, Jay Christopher, and I want to say thank you for listening to this show. It means so much to me. You can find us on Spotify, Apple, now YouTube. And when I say I am thankful for you listening, I want you to know how much I mean it. I look forward to this time together with you. And I'll be just straight honest with you. I had a rough day today. And I have looked forward to this conversation all day. And, you know, recording and spending time in the podcast studio. Maggie's my guest today. Hey, Maggie.
Hey.
We're going to talk. We'll get to that in just a second, but play with me here for a second. This is a awesome break for me. It's a great distraction from, you know, we go through life and things are tough, right? Life can be tough. And so today was kind of a tough day for me. But I'm looking forward to this distraction because I think the conversation is awesome. I love doing that. It's, I think, one of the few times when you can get into a purely distraction-free environment, you know, and then you're in an intellectual conversation and unpacking things from for different directions, you know, different perspectives. It's so healthy, and just thrilled to do it with you tonight. So
yeah,
very cool.
Absolutely.
Do you want to know about our international audience?
I do. Tell me more.
I will.
Yes.
So a few weeks ago, I revealed that we had people listening from Norway and Russia.
Whoa.
Yeah. So
that's amazing.
Right?
Yeah.
And now we have people listening from Italy, the UK, the Philippines, and Germany, on top of Honduras and Russia being the top two international places where people are listening to the Son of the Law podcast.
Okay.
Right?
That's amazing. That's so cool.
Of all the places I would have thought it would have gone, Honduras and Russia are, 0.1 or 0.2% of the audience, which means there are multiple people there
tuning in.
Yeah. And so if you're in Honduras and apparently interpreting English, thank you. And also if you're in Russia, I don't think this is dubbed over. So thank you for listening.
Yeah.
It means a lot. So as the show spreads across the country and the globe, my hope is that it spreads right here in small town America. So, just as a reminder for everybody, and, you're no exception here today, Maggie, we're interviewing small town people with big ideas and stories. So looking forward to our conversation. This show is for you and people just like you. So please share the show with your friends. That's the main thing I want to kind of ask. And you would say, how might I share the show with my friends? Before every episode, I do a social media I do a social media post on Instagram, and you can follow me there at Son of the Law Podcast, where I will promote my next guest, and then I will share that post across the networks. And you can do that too. You can say, hey, Maggie Wrisinger is on the Son of the Law podcast. Did you hear her? Check it out. And you can share my post, and you can be a part of this and help me grow. You can also find me on Facebook. And recently, I've started a personal campaign to get to 10,000 friends. I don't think I know anybody on Facebook that has 10,000 friends.
I saw that.
And so I'm like, I'm going to go for it.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, I don't know. People look at me like, this is stupid. Like, why are you doing this? And I'm sure I'm making several people uncomfortable.
No.
But I'm just literally going down Facebook and going add friend, add friend, add friend, add friend.
That's great.
Just saying, just wanting to see who responds. And it is unbelievable how many people just click, yes. I want to be your friend. And so I'm feeling so validated. And I wasn't even sure it was a fun thing to do at the first one. I'm like, this is even a little kind of creepy. But it's not really that creepy because people they're responding.
Yeah.
So anyway, and I'm getting
I'll cheer you on that. That's cool.
Thank you. Okay. And then I'd also like to know from the audience, where are you listening to the show? Is it in their car, at work, kitchen, shop, while you're working on the car? Where are you listening to the show? If you could tell me that, I'd really appreciate that. And then I'd also like your suggestions for growing the community. Help me figure that out. So if you want to, drop me a line at Gmail, sonofthelawpodcast@gmail.com. Okay. Our guest is Maggie Wrisinger. We've established that. So welcome, Maggie, officially to the Son of the Law podcast.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
We're so glad to have you. And let's talk about how I know you first. Small town connection. We met through my daughter's babysitting, right?
Yes.
And you have these little awesome kiddos, Lila and Charlie.
Yeah.
And y'all, when I talk about Lila and Charlie, they're like stupid cute. I wrote here, I try to keep my notes together. Cat and Jack, Vineyard Vines, Children's Place, Lacoste. Is that the little dragon one or the little alligator one?
Yes.
Lacoste.
Yeah, Lacoste.
Oshkosh, Carter's. Your kids make the kids that advertise these clothes look ugly. Like they're really cute.
Well, thank you.
They're really cute.
Yeah.
You're a great mother.
They're so sweet.
You're a great mother doing great things. But you're doing all the things, right? And so I don't know, we'll even talk about that. I want to do an episode dedicated to moms and like the mom jokes. I'm a big dad joke guy. Mom jokes are not as funny as dad jokes, but it's like they're grounded in these dark humor things, like I love you, but not enough to flip the chicken nuggets twice.
Right.
Like that's a classic mom joke.
Yeah. It's just, we hope that we remember they're in the oven.
Right.
So,
exactly.
Yeah.
So, if I want to do that, but like it was difficult scheduling this podcast briefing even with you, right? Because you're dropping the kids off and then you're running them here and you're running there. And so just thank you for spending time with me and thank you for, making this priority. And I think we're all going to learn a lot from you. Also say we're front porch friends. We talked about this kind of a small town thing. I dropped Lola off the very first time she was going to babysit your kiddos. And it's like weird because, you're going to take your daughter somewhere. You want to make sure she's safe. The people that you're watching kids aren't crazy.
Yeah.
We pull up this beautiful home and your beautiful family. And it's like, kind of like fall in love with the people you meet. And it's, I don't know, it's just kind of destiny. Sometimes it's just evidence of how great living in a small town can be.
Totally.
So you appreciate your investment in my daughter. Your husband, Cole, salt of the earth. You guys are so nice, likable.
Thank you.
And from my perspective, you have all the pieces, they're put together and like you're applying the puzzle glue. You know what I'm saying? Like you got it. It's just like, this looks like this perfect little life and you guys have got it all. Right. So, but which brings me to a question. Like when you do a puzzle, do you put it away? Do you puzzle at all? Do you put it away real fast? Do you leave it out for a few days to observe the work that you did personally or as a family? And then, or do you like glue it up together and frame it? Or do you like throw that sucker away because you never really got it finished?
Okay. So the recent puzzles I've been doing are the really big ones because I'm usually with my kids.
How many pieces?
No more than 20.
Okay. So, okay. I thought you were going to say 2,000. I was like, what you meant? No, 20.
No, it's more like John Deere, puzzles. Yeah. And, no, yeah, we leave them out because usually they get distracted and then we come back to them. Now, I have done a couple with my mom recently, and I would say we leave it out and we really like work this piece, work that piece.
Yeah.
But usually we have a lot of groups and then eventually
get it done.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yes.
Well, tell us about yourself, born and raised, maybe how people might know you in the area.
Yeah, so I was born in St. Louis and raised in Blue Springs. And so my husband and I moved up to Lathrop about 3.5 years ago. And when we made that move, it was pretty tough, just moving away from community and knowing everyone and moving up to a place where we knew no one.
Sure.
And I remember telling myself, I'm jumping in. Like I'm not a shy person.
Right.
But I have to jump in because if we don't create community here, then we are going to get lost.
Yep.
Being in a rural area, that's just part of it.
I'm so glad you said that. We lived in Lawson for about 2 years and we were commuting back and forth to go to a church there because we had such a great community there. And I didn't know anybody here in the town. And so I had great relationships at work and great relationships in Liberty. And I knew like 3 people here.
Yeah.
And it was like not sustainable. So I just affirm that. I mean, making your way here and doing the thing that you did was tough.
Yeah. And it's funny you say that because we also did the same thing because we love our church. I still call it our church.
Yeah.
In Blue Springs, First Baptist Blue Springs. We were married there, baptized there, all the things there. And so we love that church, but it was hard. And we drove 40 minutes for probably 8 months.
Yep.
And it was the hardest move I've ever had to make.
Right. Because you can't stay connected. You can't get to the small groups. You can't get to wherever you're there on Sundays, which is great, but that's not where kind of all the fellowship happens. So
right.
I get it.
Yeah. But jumping in has been awesome. And we met you guys right off the bat. And because I was like, I have to find a babysitter because I mean, we have life going on. Like I had to find a good babysitter. And so
introduced through our community of friends.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
So it's been good.
What is something somebody wouldn't know about you or be surprised to discover about you?
Well, I love to be outside. I love to dig in the dirt. And if you were to look at me, you would maybe not think that.
You've taken my joke.
So
you've taken it.
Oh no.
You do not look like somebody that would play in the dirt.
No, I have my nails done, my hair done. I like diamonds and all the things, but I love to be in the dirt.
And it's so funny.
Yeah.
She shows up in a big 4-wheel drive truck and jumps out of, these Wellington boots and, comes in and, takes off this stuff and now right back to Barbie.
Yeah. It's so funny. Yes. So.
All right. Okay. So we've got some polarizing topics to work through. And I want to get serious here because our audience is very serious about this. How do you make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich?
Oh, the question. The question.
I don't even know why this is so bad or so significant, but everybody wants to know.
Yes. Yes. Okay. I take 2 pieces of bread and I lay them out and I put peanut butter on one and jelly on the other. And then I put them together.
That's simple.
Yep.
Do you have any?
Oh, and I always have to cut them in squares.
Okay, so it's less about the ingredients and whatnot, and more about the process, right? You just make this. Are you making a sandwich for you? Do you eat peanut butter and jellies? Do the kids?
I used to, but not so much anymore.
Yeah.
But it's mostly for the kids. So.
Do you have any jelly that you prefer? Peanut butter that you prefer?
I really like the peanut butter from Costco. The organic peanut butter. It has less ingredients, so it's my jam.
Yeah.
I love it.
That. Peanut butter is my jam.
Peanut butter is my jam.
We might coin that.
Yes.
How do you feel about pineapple on a burger?
Love it, but it has to be grilled.
People hate that you just said that.
Really?
You might have just lost an audience member because...
No, they're missing out. I'm so sad for them.
Right?
Yes. Grilled pineapple is like magic.
Got to be grilled.
Got to be grilled.
Okay. How do you feel
pineapple
about...
is... Ugh,
are we talking like pineapple out of the can that's grilled or like fresh pineapple cut up?
Fresh.
Yeah, fresh pineapple.
Fresh. When I was pregnant, I couldn't eat enough pineapple. I had so many pineapples all the time.
If you could be fluent in any language, which one would you choose and why?
French.
French.
Because it's fancy.
It is fancy. It's a romance language.
Yes.
I don't know what that means. I think
me neither.
I think I do, but I'm not going to embarrass myself by trying to guess and then have a bunch of people tell me you're an idiot, which I already know. So I'll just save everyone.
Yes.
What's one thing you've always wanted to try but haven't gotten around to yet?
I've always wanted to make bread, but I did that today.
Really?
So
what kind
I
of bread?
Can't say that anymore.
What kind of bread did you make?
Just regular yeast bread and then also sourdough. I have like mix that's still sitting on my counter, and I'm gonna bake it tomorrow.
That is going around the community.
It is hot right now.
Yes, it is.
Goodness.
Did you go like the loaf that you have to like cut with a knife, like the traditional loaf, or did you go with the one that has to go into a bread bowl and then you have to bake it up like that?
Well, the regular bread, like just the yeast bread, I just used a baking pan. And then with the sourdough, I think I'm just going to do the same with that.
Yeah. That's how Carissa does it.
Yeah.
Easy. There's some people who I've seen make these ones where you have to roll the dough out and then you have to form it and then you put it in this Banneton basket and then you cut it with a knife and it looks fantastic. And it tastes even better. But it's so much work.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Yeah. I would like to do that eventually, but I'm not there yet.
Okay.
I'm still like I literally learned today.
Life,
So
that's right. Life is a journey.
yes,
It's a
for
process.
Sure, for sure.
If you could live in any fictional universe for a week, where would you go and what would you do?
Don't laugh at me, but I've always wanted to be a Disney princess.
That's fantastic.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
But yes, I just do. I think, yeah, they always have a really cool story. And then they meet Prince Charming, which I have met my Prince Charming.
Cole is fantastic.
It would be really fun to like live in a castle and, like not make food for a day would be really cool.
All right. If you could have dinner with any 3 people, living or dead, who would they be?
I would say my mom and Jesus and Carrie Underwood. My mom's my best friend.
Oh my gosh.
And Jesus is just so cool. And Carrie Underwood I want to be her.
I think we need to get the 4 of you together for that dinner. That sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
All right. And what is your go-to comfort food when you've had a rough day?
Pasta.
What kind of pasta?
Anything.
Anything.
It doesn't matter.
Bring it.
White sauce, red sauce. It doesn't matter. Anything.
Do you think the body is a temple?
Yes. Absolutely.
And
I learned that later in life and fully understood it.
Well, it's clear to me that you do. And it's clear that you got your head on straight and easy to have fun with. So I want to talk about some things that are fun and also some things that are serious, right? I mean, you've lost a bunch of weight. You've taken your health very seriously. You've kind of demonstrated your belief that the body is a temple the last couple of years related to what you've put in it and how you've treated it. And so let's talk about being happy and healthy and consider maybe the diet culture and whatnot, as I think it's got some stereotypes and maybe work through that a bit.
Absolutely.
Okay, so if the diet culture is everywhere, and I think it is, do you see dieting more as what you can eat or what you can't eat?
I think the word diet and dieting makes it a negative thing and what you can't eat.
That's where people think it's like society would say, I can't eat that. I can't eat that. I can't eat that. Okay.
It's a bunch of
and you don't
don'ts.
Like that.
I don't like that because
Okay.
I don't think that's sustainable for a lifestyle.
What is sustainable?
Being real with food and like really knowing where our food is coming from and what's in it. I think that's really important because that is going to affect everything about us and how we feel.
Right. I'm completely unprepared for this question, and I don't even know if you've done any research on it, as I haven't. So just being prepared to expose my ignorance on the topic. But have you ever heard of like Ozempic? And I mean, I think it's a shot, and people are like doing Ozempic left and right, having tremendous results losing weight. But as I understand it, listening to people who've chatted about it, it's apparently terrible for you.
Really?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking. Do you know anything about it?
So I do.
Okay.
There's not a lot of studies out yet to really say that it's terrible for you.
Okay.
But it is changing people's lives.
Yeah.
So there's I think it has a very negative connotation like with it. Because people just think it's like an easy way out when really it's really changing people's lives.
Yeah. I've heard that if you're not like, it can change your life if you do certain things right with it.
Yep.
But like if you just do it and you don't do some of the things that they suggest you do, it can eat you. Like
Absolutely.
It will eat your muscle. It eats your, maybe eats your fat or whatever, but it's not super healthy. And so again, I don't really even know what I'm talking about on it, but maybe we'll get there.
Yeah.
Well, and it kind of begs the question, why do people want to do it? What has been the driver for this weight loss culture? Is it social media driven? Would you kind of consider the world of weight loss? What do you think some of the social pressures are around the ideal body?
Well, I think every time anyone gets on social media, they're constantly comparing themselves to whatever they're seeing. and not everyone, but a lot of people tend to put the good stuff on there.
Yep.
And then people can say, oh gosh, like look at them, but what about me?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that definitely gets in people's heads.
Mm-hmm.
And then like when all these people that are promoting diets and certain things that, diets do work, but I think that the longevity and like the lifestyle, that's what's missing in our culture. And so like these people that are promoting diets and things like that, they look all fit and they look a certain way. But they want you to buy all these products to get to that goal. Like I said, I'm not saying anything bad about that because things do work. But I think that it can set up a unrealistic expectation of I have to look like that.
Right.
Instead of whole health.
Do you think there's a difference in the way men and women are impacted by the social media posts and the ideal body on Instagram or whatever?
I'm not sure. I mean, I think women might be harder on themselves than men. Women have a hard time losing weight compared to men. And so it could be like men are like, oh, I can do that. And then they do it because you guys lose weight pretty quick. And then women, we have a hard time.
And you talk about men and women. I'm thinking stereotypes, so whether or not they're right or not, I don't see men struggling with it the same way. But at the same time, I've observed, your feed on social things starts whatever. I've been watching some workout videos or whatever. And so now my feed is like these guys who've gone from, 230 and flabby to 185 and ripped. And I'm like, man, maybe I do have an issue. I clearly have some work to do.
No. Yeah. It's a daily thing. It's those kind of, like seeing that kind of stuff, like side by side it can get in your head.
Yeah.
And make you think,
So you talked about the difference between wellness and weight loss. What do you see as the difference between the two?
So wellness, for me, it's from my head to my toe, right? Head to toes. So I really think that our mind has a lot to do with everything and it's so powerful. And so if you work on your mind and get that straight, then overall wellness is gonna work for you. Yeah. And I think it's our mental health, it's our physical health, it's what we're putting on our bodies, like lotions and soaps and all the things, and food and all. It's whole health.
So you can look a certain way, but you might not necessarily be as well.
As healthy. Yeah. Right.
Okay, so I'm going to give you some other topics, and you just pick the ones that you think are important.
Okay.
Yo-yo dieting, body positivity and intuitive eating, mental health versus weight loss.
Okay, I'm going to start with yo-yo because that was me. I truly have yo-yoed my entire life until 2 years ago when I had to get into the groove of things. So I wouldn't say 2 years ago. I'd say like a year and a half. Just getting in the groove of like making good choices and making it a lifestyle change. Yeah. But beforehand, I would do a diet and then I would fall off. Like once I hit my goal, I would just fall off and I would go right back to my bad habits, and it was a revolving door. So I would do a diet and then I would meet my goal and then I would fall back into my bad habits again. And it just happened over and over and over. And finally, after having kiddos, I had a hard time losing weight. Right. And I was still yo-yoing.
That's a little different ball game too. Mama weight versus just like freshman 15 or whatever.
True.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. But it just, I finally hit rock bottom and was like, something's going on with me. I don't really know what. Yeah. And I needed to find out because I was sick of yo-yoing. Yeah. It was no fun.
Let me affirm that. I think as I get older, the decision to change, like the moment that one makes a decision to change, that's where the work is.
Yes.
That's the work.
Absolutely.
Everything after that,
Mm-hmm.
like you've gotten good and lathered up and frustrated, you decide today's the day.
Yeah.
Rock bottom. I'm not going to
Yes.
do this, whatever. In your mind changes. There's growth in that. And then the rest is just kind of executing a plan,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So how do you feel about the rise of body positivity?
So body positivity, what do you mean?
Well, maybe the body positivity and being comfortable in a body that's overweight, maybe turning a blind eye to the person who's choosing to say, I'm okay with how I look,
Mm-hmm.
when all of the medical information available would say that you're not okay.
Mm.
Society would say, you go, girl, go ahead and wear the outfit that, kind of shows off the extra 100 pounds that you're carrying, or the guy who says, I'm 300 pounds or 260 pounds and I feel good about myself mentally. And so I'm not worried
So I'm
about,
good.
Yeah. So I'm good.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that whole process? And I know there's some landmines in here,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm sure there's
Mm-hmm.
people who heard that question. They're like, what are we doing here? I was liking it and now I'm not liking it.
My first thought is, how many clicks do they want to get?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think that I would seriously ask them, do they actually feel good? And like truly feel good. And I think that's what whole health is all about.
Yeah.
And it's really a personal decision for sure. Like
Mm-hmm.
you have to say, okay, I am not happy in my own skin, so
Mm-hmm.
I am going to make a change. Or honestly, if people are happy with that and they're wanting attention and clicks and all the things, then that's on them.
Yeah.
But I will say, after losing 53 pounds, I feel completely different. And it's, I was not happy in my own skin.
Mm-hmm.
And I tried to, I'm a fashionista, so I love fashion. And so I would dress up like the trendy things
Mm-hmm.
and all the things, but I was never happy in my own skin.
Right.
And so
You could say it all you want, but you didn't feel that way.
No. Yeah.
Right? So it's almost like,
Yeah.
and again, that's where I'm going. I'm trying very hard, but I'm not doing a good job. I don't necessarily think it's loving to have somebody say that they feel good and then to have a society and a culture that just affirms that. You
Right.
know, literally you're 100 pounds overweight or
Mhm.
200 pounds overweight where you
Mhm.
should be. And the body positive group says, yeah, you do it. That's fine.
You do
look
you.
great. You're
Mhm.
beautiful.
Mhm.
And you may have a beautiful spirit and you may have a beautiful, perspective, right? And
Yeah.
you may feel, good mentally about
Mhm.
yourself. And I don't want to say your body is not beautiful, because God creates beautiful bodies, but you're not taking care of this beautiful body and
Yeah.
you're not loving yourself truly enough to take care of yourself.
Right.
I don't know. It just seems like a bad lie. And I don't know. I
Mhm.
think something you've kind of helping me work through is there's a difference over appearance and health. Like you said earlier, you can be doing all the crunches and all the sit-ups and everything like that, and you may not have a ripped six-pack, but you're not going to be, way overweight either.
Right.
And so tell me about the difference there. Like, what's the difference over the appearance maybe versus the way you feel when you're healthy?
Yeah. So, especially after having kiddos, it's just part of what my body looks like now.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say right now I'm in the best shape of my life, and I still, have the pudgy tummy because I had babies, and I take total pride in that. And I'm like, I rock my mom body because
Yeah.
that is cool.
Okay.
And, but, and I look at I mean, I'm human. So looking at women that are ripped after having babies and stuff, like obviously I'm like, yes, like I would love to look like that. But I also know how good I feel now compared to what I did feel like.
Right.
And that changes my perspective 100%.
Right.
And I've really changed my mind to how do I feel inside compared to what I look for, like outside,
Right.
because really what I feel like inside is more important, because that's going to keep me living longer. That's going to make me, able to run up the stairs with my kids and do all the things.
Yeah. Talk about your kids, you talk about your experience. Let's dig into that a little bit. What has been your personal journey? What was your motivation to start this? And then kind of maybe can you walk us through your experience dieting and ultimately what worked for you?
Yeah. I'll tell you from pretty much the very beginning. So I was a dancer in high school, and then I didn't make dance team in college, and I joined a sorority, and I love that sorority and those ladies so much. I started making bad choices with my food and drinking alcohol in college, and that really caught up to me. My parents they came down and visited me all the time, and we were partying together, and that was just what we did at that time. And
where'd you go to school?
Missouri State University.
Okay.
Yeah.
SMS?
In Springfield. Yes. Well, it's MSU now.
Right.
But
okay.
SMS. Yeah. Yeah. And so after that, I met my husband, and then a week later, my dad decided to give his life to Christ, and he is sober now. And so, yes.
Whoa.
It was
face.
Yes. And he went cold turkey, hasn't looked back, and doesn't drink. And he's running a ministry through church now called Free Indeed. And it is bringing people to Jesus, and also like they're finding sobriety in it. So
holy crap. So it
is so cool.
Let me unpack that a bit. Sorry. I gotta stop you.
Yeah.
So you're in high school in dance, feeling your body, feeling good.
Yeah.
Go to college, no dance. Freshman 15 comes from poor health choices, awesome fellowship with friends, and drinking alcohol, including partying with your parents.
Absolutely. That was it.
This is the start of a bad joke. And then, they move into a new world and get completely clean, turning life over to Christ. And now left turn. Okay.
Totally.
All right. Now you go, because I just want to make sure I had it right.
Yep. I'm not telling a story. This is definitely a redemption.
Okay.
Redemption story for sure. So, I met Cole, and that's my husband, and he was a follower of Christ at the time. And so he really helped me. And, then my dad drug us to church. And that's when I realized, man, this is what I've been missing all my life. And so when you go from one lifestyle to a completely different one, the people you're around change, and things like that. And
what changed? You cut the alcohol out naturally.
Gosh. Yes.
Changed the food.
Yep. Changed the food. We were in a different community, and it was just awesome all around.
Awesome.
So that's when a lot changed for me with food and alcohol. And then we get married, and then get pregnant with Lila. I lost my weight pretty quick with Lila, and then got pregnant with Charlie.
Baby number 1. How old's Lila? You think you said earlier.
7.5.
7.5. Okay.
Yes.
So we're working on 8 years old.
It's crazy.
Yep.
Gosh,
and then Charlie
every
came
grandma
along.
says it goes fast,
Oh,
and they're so right.
Yeah. And the older you get,
makes me cry.
because I'm way older than you, the older you get, the faster it goes.
Goodness. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Time's a thief. So had Charlie, and my weight didn't fall off very fast with him. And then life got kind of crazy. So Cole was in school for medicine, and so we were in Omaha And then we also had a house in Blue Springs.
Okay.
And I was going back and forth to Omaha and Blue Springs and trying to keep life
on
happening.
the road.
And I had an 8-month-old and a 2.5-year-old at the time. So it was crazy. And I just ate whatever I wanted.
Yeah.
I definitely went back to my old habits.
Sure.
And I was just like trying to survive.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we moved back, we were in Blue Springs for 2 months. And then we bought the house up here in Lathrop.
Okay.
And so we moved 3 times in 4 months.
Yeah.
And it was crazy. And it took a big toll on me because moving from community, which I thrive off of people,
Yeah.
up to nowhere. Like I knew no one in Lathrop. It was hard. And so I just didn't do well with my eating and honestly drinking alcohol.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah.
And then when I hit rock bottom 2 years ago, I said, Cole, I'm changing things. I'm done.
Yeah.
And it really was a mind thing, like you said earlier.
Yeah,
Like
that's
truly
the work.
yes, it is the work. It's like the aha, like I get it.
Yeah.
And so that's when I was like, I have to go figure out what's going on with my body, because at that time I was dieting.
Right.
So, and I was killing myself on Peloton. Oh my gosh. I rode that bike all the time.
Yeah.
And then I soon found out with doctors that that's not what worked for my body.
Okay.
And I was doing the wrong things.
Okay. So what did work for your body?
So I found out, I went to the doctor and I got labs drawn. Well, first of all, I got a doctor.
Okay.
Because my OB was my doctor for so long.
Right.
And a lot of women can relate to that because you're having babies and that's just who you see. And they take care of you and they draw blood and they,
a lot of them are family practice and they do OB on the side. So, I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah. And so like, why go to another doctor when
Sure.
you have an OB?
Sure.
And so I found a doctor and got my labs drawn, and I was obese and 1 point off of type 2 diabetic, high cholesterol, high blood pressure. And then I had several levels that were off.
They say never ask a woman her age. So I'm not asking. But about what range are we talking here?
So I was 33 when I went to the doctor.
So you're a 33-year-old, partially almost obese.
I was
obese,
Mm-hmm.
high cholesterol.
Almost type 2 diabetic.
Right. And on the outside, that. And then on the inside, you're not doing good.
Right.
There is a major problem.
Right. I was losing years off my life at that point.
Okay.
That's what I believe.
Yeah.
So.
And you said no more.
Yeah. So my doctor, great doctor, love him to death.
Okay.
But he wanted to put me on a bunch of medicine. And I simply said, no, I'm not doing that because that's a Band-Aid. And I'm not figuring out what's really going on with me.
How is it a Band-Aid?
I believe that there's other ways to get healthy than to just say, hey, let's take high blood pressure medication and high cholesterol medication and things like that. Now,
so
there's people
this is you being a part of your doctor's, and you're part of your doctor's plan.
Yeah.
Working a medical treatment plan together.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And there's people that have to have those things because of genetics or
Sure,
whatever. Like
sure.
Totally understand. I mean, you know what I mean? I'm not a doctor, but
right. This is your story.
This is my story.
Everyone else's, right?
Right. So, he did actually, bring up Wegovy, and I said,
what is that?
Oh wait, you said Mounjaro earlier?
No, I said
Wegovy.
I said Ozempic earlier.
Ozempic.
Yeah.
Okay, they're all the same. They're just named different. And so I was like, what is that? And he explained it to me, and he was like, it's kind of 2 options. Like, you're going to probably need to be on all of these medications, or there is this, but you have to do X, Y, and Z. And if you don't do X, Y, and Z, then it's not going to work for you.
Right.
And X, Y, and Z was water, protein, working out, like basically changing my lifestyle.
Right.
And so I actually got on, it's called tirzepatide.
Okay.
And it is like the medication that's in those name brand
Okay.
drugs or whatever. And so I was on that for 8 months.
Okay.
And it was a boost for me. Basically, it just curbs your appetite.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned so much. I went to a med spa, and those ladies worked with me and taught me so much about food and water, and that like lifting weights was probably better for my body's, like my situation
Than the Peloton bike?
cardio.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so I followed everything that they suggested to a T, and my doctor, because he helped me a lot too. And so I went from eating like a million salads and a million pieces of fruit to a bunch of protein and eggs and yogurts and like jerky and, all the meats.
Right.
And all of that. And
move away from sugar?
Yes.
Okay.
Sugar. Yes. Now there's good sugar that are in fruits.
Okay.
But I was looking back, I was eating way too much of that.
Okay.
And at the wrong times too. Like our body is, meant to have the good sugar in the morning to work it off through the day.
Okay.
And I was eating like all the stuff at night. And well, what does your body do at night? Well, it stores it.
Right.
So that creates not the great sugars.
Okay.
So I just changed and then water. Oh my gosh, water.
Drinking a lot of water.
Oh my gosh. I have about 100 ounces a day.
That's a lot of ounces.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think.
It's insane.
It used to be 8. A full glass of water is 8 ounces, and 8 times 8 is 64. So you're almost 60 or 40 more % than the recommended daily. That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's flushing the system.
Yeah. And back to the injection, that's what you had to do.
Oh, okay.
And then that's just really, I'm not on it anymore. And I've found that that's just part of my lifestyle now.
Yeah. I didn't realize when I was asking that question about Ozempic that I was potentially sticking my foot in my mouth. So
no.
There it goes. That's what happens.
No, because honestly, there's a lot out there.
Yeah.
And I've told people, I'm not ashamed of it. It's changed my life. It's been one of the best decisions I've ever made.
Okay.
And to this day, I'm not on any other I'm not on any medication.
Yeah.
So it's like that changed my life.
So you used it for a season.
Yeah.
Used it as a jump start.
Yep.
And then as a result of your learning through, this process and changing your lifestyle, that enabled you to get away from it and maintain this healthy lifestyle now without that medication.
Yep.
Brilliant. And now you're not taking any medication.
No.
35 years old, your cholesterol and blood levels and all that stuff is back to normal?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So what were some of the biggest challenges that you faced during this process, right? We talked about the decision being the work, but then you still got the kids. You've still got, a house and a family you're trying to run.
Mm-hmm.
Running the kids is a thing. There's a taxi,
Yes.
you know what I mean? Like you're the taxi or all the things, right? And it's so easy when the kids are eating chicken nuggets that you refuse to flip. How do you make different decisions there? Like what was tough, as you were working through this process?
Yeah. My number one thing was being lazy.
Okay. You just called that out.
Yep. I was lazy.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And I saw food on the table and I was like, I need to eat that because I bought that.
Right.
So I don't want to throw it away but then, so just being lazy.
And
that was really hard.
How do you then deal with that laziness? Was it a mental discipline? Was it a toughness? Was it how did you kind of pick yourself up off the? Yeah.
So I found really early that I needed to write down goals. And so I did that. And, I stuck to them and I wrote them and I put them in my closet. And so I saw them every single day. And, it was a reminder that I'm doing something, like I am doing this. And, I also got my family on board, which was really big.
Kind of got a support group built in there.
Yeah. Yeah. So Cole is obviously a huge support and my parents and sister. And so like that was huge. And then, it was to get out of the like ruts, I would call it.
Mm-hmm.
I would just pick up old pictures and say, I want to be different.
Old pictures from when you were heavier.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And it was a good reminder. And Peloton held me accountable. I love that platform.
Yep.
And yeah, I just
What
it was a
when-
mental thing.
what
I
is
made that decision.
What is the Peloton platform?
So they have a bike, and
Okay.
it's that's what they promote themselves the most on,
Okay.
is their bike. And then
Is this an app?
it is well, they have studios
Okay.
in a bunch of different cities
Okay.
around, and so you buy the Peloton bike,
Okay.
and then it comes with a screen, and the screen swivels.
Okay.
So we pay for the package,
Okay.
so we can have access to all the workouts.
Okay.
And they do all the things. I mean, and now they have a tread. They have different things too that you can buy. And
So the screen
it's a
swiveling is like you on the floor, not on the bike.
right.
Okay.
So you can be on the bike,
Okay.
and then you can swivel and then be on the floor and do like lifting and cardio and yoga and stretching and
Total
all the
body.
things. Total. Yeah.
Brilliant.
It's awesome.
That's awesome.
So it is an app too. So you can run with it outside, and they can coach you all along. So
Yeah.
it's been really good.
So how has your relationship with food then changed over this? You mentioned that, families being very supportive. You got this network around you. You've got a work out lifestyle with Peloton and,
Mhm.
that. How does the
Okay.
eating all the things go from not eating all the things?
Yes. Okay. So I had an aha moment that food was controlling me. I wasn't controlling my food.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like money. Money can control you and your world, or you can control your money.
Mm-hmm.
And I truly think that mindset has helped me get through the days.
Yeah.
Like, I'm in control of what I put in my body.
Yeah.
And that's as easy as it is. And I've told myself, okay, Maggie, you need to decide before you take a bite if this is a good decision or not.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I make good decisions. I try to, like 90% of the time, and then the other 10%, I'm like, you know what? We're gonna have birthday parties. We're gonna have things that are going on in life,
Yep.
but we have to live our life. So have that piece of cake, but make it really small.
Yeah.
Where you're getting that little taste, but you're not adding on to your weight or
Yeah.
things like that.
So, what encouragement then do you have for just falling off the wagon? And I will say there to the person, okay, here we go. I'm just going to give it to you.
Okay.
I grew up with a fat kid,
Mhm.
right? My last name is Bollinger and my nickname was Butterfingers.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was just, looked like a little roly-poly, a little
Uh-huh.
greasy, kind of fat, whatever. Grew up having major issues, body issues and whatnot. And I found that food never told me I was ugly. Food never told me I was fat. It was like,
Yep.
It was like,
Mm-hmm.
and
Comfort.
now, it's comfort. And, so I could like eat a sleeve of Girl Scout cookies or whatever, like it was nothing and whatever. But as I've gotten older and done some things that have, allowed me to, move through life and lose some weight and feel better about myself and treat myself better the way you've kind of worked through yourself, you still kind of fall off the wagon.
Totally.
So you have a bad day.
Mm-hmm.
You make wonderful decisions, telling yourself you're going to do it right. You kind of discipline yourself through it. And then you blow the crap out of it. What do you do then? Is this, some would say, and, I've been guilty of, it's like, okay, I failed today. So then I get up, I failed yesterday, so I'll fail. I just start my day failing tomorrow, right? And you just keep failing until you like put on 20 pounds and then you're like, okay, I'm back to the yo-yo, right? All the stuff all the stuff that you talk through. So what did you say to yourself, or how did you kind of navigate that point where you blew it and then you got to get back on the horse?
Yeah. So I focus on the small victories.
What are small victories?
Small victories are like, one, It sounds really simple, but giving yourself grace
Mm-hmm.
and realizing that all of us fall short, even if it's with food.
Yep.
And that if we get ourselves back up, then that's a win.
Yep.
And so taking it little by little and don't be so hard on yourself
Mhm.
and give yourself grace it'll change everything.
Yep.
And realizing that you're working towards a goal. This is not a sprint. This is a marathon.
Yeah.
Like our life is not 30 days, not 60 days,
Yeah.
not 90 days. It's a long time.
You're literally changing your lifestyle, not necessarily what you eat. Yeah.
Yes. And so that's the point. Give yourself grace because, and get yourself back up, because if you don't get back up, then you're going to stay down there.
Right.
And then that's where the cycle comes in play.
Right.
So,
do you ever confess to anybody what you've done?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think community is so important. Like
Yeah.
if you don't have community and accountability, then who, like,
What does that look like?
well,
I mean, for me, it was like, and this I say I'm older, way older than you, but sometimes I will have eaten something in the house, and now it's kind of a thing around the house. Like, where did that go? And I will, from the other room, go, I ate it. I'm so sorry.
I ate it.
But I confessed it.
Yeah.
I got it out there, and I'm like, okay, I won't do that again.
Yeah.
Right. Or whatever. But just putting it out there is enough to say, like, dang it, I hated having to admit that. I don't want to put myself in that spot again.
Yeah.
Right. So
I would say
tell
that
your friends, tell your mom.
Cole was my go-to.
Yeah.
Yep. And he, to be honest, there were days that he was like, come on, Maggie, like what are you doing? And then there's days that he was like, babe, keep going.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
And no, he was my go-to.
Sometimes your most encouraging people, they know the right thing to say at the right time.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Like
Mm-hmm.
if you need the encouragement one day, it can be get up.
Yeah.
Quit feeling sorry for yourself, or it's been a rough day.
Yeah.
I get it. Right.
Yeah.
It's okay. I still love you.
Yeah.
You're going to be all right. We'll
It's
work through this.
fine. Yeah.
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 And so you navigate that,
Mm-hmm.
and just hearing your story. I mean, you're coming off as a different person, right? And I didn't know you that well before, right? We've only gotten to know one another last year or so, but the way you're talking about who you were and who you are now,
Yep.
it really feels like, I mean, kind of like the way you're communicating is you're a different person.
Absolutely.
Right? Your mind is new.
Mm-hmm.
You would say your body is new, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So, tell me about that, right? Can you expand on that a little bit?
Yeah. I'm so proud of where I am today. I truly look back, and I'm also proud of my story
Mm-hmm.
because that's what made me who I am today.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that it's something to share,
Mm-hmm.
because if I just be quiet about what has happened in my journey, then how can I use my story to help others?
Right.
And so that's been the biggest thing with where I was and then where I am today, is if I don't share it, then I'm robbing others of what they can be.
Right.
And so it's very empowering for me.
Mm-hmm.
And, being a stay-at-home mom for almost 8 years now, I started praying, gosh, like, what am I supposed to do when both of my kids are in school?
Right.
Like, what am I supposed to do? And our schedule's crazy with Cole's job and
Sure.
things. And so it's like, oh gosh, how am I going to fit this all in, but keep the glue together with the kids? And
Yep.
I just can't clean toilets all day at
Right.
home. So my story is part of what I'm doing now. And I just want to, I want to be the light that people may not be seeing in themselves. Like, you can do it. If I did it, anyone can do it. The carb girl that is like so consumed with food, and food controlled me in so many ways. Like, the fact that I've changed so much, and it's just, I can't not share it.
Yeah.
I can't.
That's why one of the reasons I wanted to have you on, right? Just chatting with you about this, you had this feeling about yourself and the way you were feeling. You did something about it. And as we've talked through, it was messy and difficult and
yeah.
hard
Oh yeah.
and worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And now you've come to a point where you're maintaining, you're feeling good about it. You want to share it with people. How are you doing that? How are you sharing your story now in a way that is, meaningful?
Yeah. So I have a garden. I'm a big gardener. And when we moved up here and had land to garden, I realized our soil was really rich and good, and I had a lot of produce. And so I started a little like booth down in Lathrop and at the farmer's market.
Okay.
And so I named it, I wanted to name it something. I didn't want to just be like, hey, I have produce. Come get my produce. And so my garden brings me joy.
Right.
So I called it Joyful Harvest. And so I did that for I did that for a year. And then last year, Cole was out of town a lot and my garden just didn't really make it. And hey, that happens with gardeners. Like,
yes, it does.
You have good years and bad years, and that's okay. So I've kind of renamed Joyful Harvest into Joyful Living.
Okay.
And it's with my story and it's incorporating my story. And so I'm an accountability coach. And so what that is within Joyful Living, you are a part of a platform, and it's a group, where I hold people accountable. So they pick out whatever platform they're going to do. So like Peloton, whatever kind of workout they want to do. It could be walking, like it could be as crazy as, Peloton to walking. And they make their own goals. And then what I do is I educate on what I've learned through food and moving my body, and what to advocate for yourself for, because I've learned so much about like what to advocate for, and it's okay to go to the doctor and figure out those hard things.
Certainly.
To then make yourself a better version of yourself.
Yeah. There's books and I mean, the list is almost endless. This isn't something that's new. People have been trying to lose weight for a long time, and nothing's new under the sun.
Right.
But what you've inspired me to is see, and what I'm observing in their story is that there's power in your story. And I love gosh, guys, if I can do this, you can do this.
Yes.
And just telling somebody
Absolutely.
they can do it, and having all that same support network that you were talking about, and being that for someone else. It's incredible.
Yeah.
So it's Joyful Living.
Joyful Living.
What is Joyful Living? Is it a website? Is this, and how would somebody, whatever? No, this is the shameless plug. I know it's difficult probably to talk about this stuff. It's so new. And you don't even need to talk about it if you don't want to, but I figured you might want to. So this is a great platform.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for letting me talk about it. Right now it is fairly new, and I'm going to launch it in June. And right now we're doing a trial group, and it's 11 women. And I've created content about everything that I've learned, and I'm basically just holding them accountable to their goals. And I offer one-on-one coaching, and I'm doing that with 2 women right now.
Yep.
And one of them, we started February 1st, and she was down 5.5 pounds last week. And so that's just crazy. As
this being recorded, we're in, February 27th. So in just a couple of weeks, we've seen a woman make great changes, just having a coach and a partner in this, and you're being a part of her life.
Yeah. And it's really about accountability and community, because I truly believe that this is a lifestyle, and a lot of people look at losing weight as a diet. It's a 30-day, 60-day, 90-day, and that's not a bad thing. It's not a lifestyle though. Right. And that's where the yo-yo comes in. And I think that people lose their excitement and wanting to live like a whole healthy life when they don't have accountability and they don't have community. And so I want to provide that for people, and I want to be the light for someone that, may not have it for themselves.
That's brilliant. Yeah. And to your point earlier, and we've kind of come full circle now, that's how the yo-yo happens, right? You make a goal of losing a few pounds or getting to an ideal body weight or whatever, and you hit the goal, and then I don't want to say you give up, but you just, okay, I did it. Mission accomplished. Yeah. And then you slack off or whatever.
I'm guilty of it.
Yeah.
I literally so why this kind of came about was I hit my goal in July and I found myself going back to those old habits already. Like I hit my goal and I was like, oh, I'm good. Okay. Pizza. Hey, what's up? Give me all of it.
Pasta. It's been a rough day.
Yeah. Every day. No, I'm just kidding.
So, that'll be interesting. And so, when it comes to finding you on that, I mean, I gather this is maybe a starting business. I don't know if you want to get too big. We have dozens of listeners on our show. So, maybe somebody would be interested, but, as a just like new business owner, I mean, we could do a whole nother podcast on starting a business.
Right.
It's got to be difficult. Are you doing a website? Are you doing?
Yes. So I already have a website. And it's very simple. It's very simple. I just wanted to get one going.
Joyfulliving.com.
I think it's Joyful Living Accountability at Canva.
Okay.
I did it through Canva because I'm doing a lot of my content through Canva.
Okay.
And so it just was easy to take my content and put it on there.
Beautiful.
So I would love to have a podcast of my own and bring people on that are living a healthy lifestyle that can then like encourage others to, there's so much like from mental health to food to fitness to all over. I mean, it's the ingredients that we wash our clothes in, that we put on our bodies. Like it's just a huge thing. And like I said, like I just learned how to make bread today. And so making our own food and things like that.
You never run out of topics either.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, because it's constantly changing and things are constantly evolving.
Yeah.
So,
well, and I mean, this is the type of content that I want to have on this show because of, all the things we've talked about, right? Small town, you're figuring it out, you're making it work. It's a process and a passion and you're doing it and you're doing it well, right? And good for you, right?
Well, thank you.
And now you're trying to figure it out. I mean, this is what it's about, small town America, making it happen. So well done.
Yes.
Anything else you want to leave our listeners with before we let you go today?
I'm going to repeat myself because I believe it so much is just to give yourself grace and that we all fall short and I fall short and, just to pick yourself back up. And if you're not going to pick yourself back up, nobody will. And so, food doesn't have to control you. You can control your food.
That's awesome.
And it can change your life. That's
awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us today and, for great conversation. I've learned a lot. And, Third Chair, something that I hope you are getting from these episodes is motivation. I hope you are stirred to action here. I hope this show is going to make you think about things, think about your life, and think about the way you're living, and consider another way. So if you feel like you don't like how you feel and you want to make some make some different choices, do it. Take that opportunity to execute a new plan. Do that hard work of making a decision and move forward in a new way. You can do it. We know you can. All right. That has been the Son of the Law podcast. Thank you for joining us today.